York is one of Maine's southernmost coastal towns, where development pressures have had profound impacts on the community.
Anybody who's been here long enough has seen so much change. You know, the woods that you used to think were wilderness as a kid running around, getting lost as, the fields you used to ride the baler around. Those are all really big houses now. A lot of those special places aren't what they were.
A year later, the changes to York's fields and woodlands hit close to home when the dock that Mark and his partner, Jeff Donnell, had fished from for years was put up for sale.
My grandfather was a lobster catcher most of his life. My father was a lobster catcher, and my whole adult life I've worked right here.
Sewell's Dock is about a mile up the York River from the mouth of the harbor, in the heart of the town's historic district.
There's always been a long tradition of fishing here in York, and there are about, I believe, 40 active fishermen who are still working out of York Harbor.
Though Maine has 5,300 miles of coastline, only 25 miles of it is still working waterfront. Like most coastal towns, York has been losing commercial waterfront for years.
We lost the two or three commercial lobster docks in the harbor that used to buy and sell lobsters. You could get bait there, maybe fuel.
If you look in that direction, you can see Varrell's Wharf, which is the one that was a wharf from the 1700s until 2000 when it was converted into a house.
When the property with Mark Sewell's dock on it went up for sale, at a price far beyond a fisherman's means, it looked like another casualty of upscale waterfront development.
When it first went up for sale, my partner Jeff Donnell and I trying to buy it then. But at that point, this fellow from Texas came in and bought it from under us. But even before it got bought out, we realized that there's no way to catch enough lobsters to make this place work.
The new owner had plans approved for a house and put the property back in the market. This gave Mark and Jeff new hope that there might be a way to save their dock and a vital piece of York's character.
They were talking about putting this big house up with a large stone wall. I think it was 5 feet tall along the road, and what wasn't stone wall was going to be shrubs. It was going to block off all view.
The fishermen approached Joey Donnelly.
We started talking about this in January.
Joey pulled together an unusual group of people, the fishermen, the land trust, and representatives from the Wells Reserve and Coastal Enterprises, a group that helps Maine communities with economic development.
And they had a meeting on the dock, I heard, on a very, very cold day. And the fishermen pointed out that, the land trust was doing a lot for the working landscapes in York, but what were they doing for local fishermen?
We all knew that we were going to all regret it for the rest of our lives.
To see the lobster pots, stacked up on the dock, and to really see fishermen unloading their catch, and to see the active things happening in that thriving area is part of, what we love about our community.
This unusual partnership began a race against the clock to structure a complicated deal where the fishermen would buy the property for $700,000, but the land trust would pay them more than half of that for a conservation easement. The easement would assure that the dock would forever remain working waterfront.
We were very much under the gun because this place was for sale while we were trying to do this. And every time a Porsche or a BMW or some other fancy car would pull in looking at the for sale sign, we go, oh man, this very well could be the guy that buys it out from under us.
As land trusts, we have the responsibility in all of our projects to ensure that there is a strong public benefit component to them. And with this project, it wasn't immediately obvious to us what that public benefit was going to be.
There were other hurdles as well. The fishermen and land trusts had to find common ground between the goals of conservation and the day-to-day operations of lobstering. Then there was the long-term use of the dock to consider. How could the partners create an agreement that would allow for whatever the future might bring to the fishing industry?
And the real rubs came where the land trust didn't want to see this be a yacht club. They didn't want to see yachts here instead of lobster boats. They didn't want to see it become an exclusive marina. And we all had to find compromises so that we could do our job. And we hoped that whoever ends up with this pier down the road would be able to do their job.
And it was sort of a leap of faith in the end. We could see that there were potential unknowns about stewardship in the future, and we were in uncharted waters for sure.
To cap it off, the Land Trust needed to raise $400,000 to buy the development rights, which they secured from foundations and individual donors.
It's quite amazing, actually. If you look across at those beautiful lobster boats, you could be any place in Maine. If we hadn't done this project and you looked across the river, you would say, what is that new house doing in this historic area?
Everybody has seen so much change in the last 10 or 20 years, and they would like to see some of it get saved. And they're willing to put their time, energy, and money into seeing it happen, which is what happened here, and we're really lucky.